You're
well, there she
totally
goes.
lucky. Let's hope we make it.
Hello. Yeah, I don't know what it was doing on my end. It like I would try to add you, but then once I tried to add you, it was like it would try and then it would stop, and then when I don't know if it kept trying or what, but after I would try to add you, it I guess whenever it wouldn't connect, I would go back to your name and it wouldn't give me that option anymore. So I don't know what was going on. So, but how
Oh
are you
well.
doing this morning?
Oh, not too bad.
Okay, okay. Well,
Not too
everybody,
bad.
I finally got on Joanne Schwan. Did I say your name, the last name right, Schwan?
No.
My voiceover probably butchers it, but how do you pronounce it?
Chua.
Schwa. Okay,
Chua, like
got
the
you, got you.
it's a ch, so it's a chua like China, but chua instead of China.
Oh, okay, got you. I'm going to call you Joanne. Is that okay?
Of course,
Because
yeah, it's alright.
I don't want to keep butchering it. Yeah.
Not many people actually know how to pronounce my name, so that's perfectly
Oh,
fine.
okay. So everybody, we got Joanne on. And as usual, Joanne, I'm actually going to ask you some of the little formal questions. So if you could give us a little bit about who you are, you know, your name, your age, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Joanne, the first. Um, I'm 33, going to 34 soonish, but not quite yet. I am actually now living in, I would say that I'm based in Australia. I'm originally from Malaysia. So I'm actually a Malaysian born Chinese, which kind of like bring, I suppose, a lot of multicultural stuff into the mix as well.
Okay. Okay.
I have been in Australia for nearly 14 years. Yeah,
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So for those of us who are totally blind like me, can you give yourself a description or kind of describe what you physically look like?
Oh, I look like a woman.
Right, yeah.
um, I hope so. Well, last I checked, I am. So,
Right, exactly. Yeah. Um,
um, I am about 5'4", I guess, and mid-length, hair, long hair, black, um, straight, and
okay.
I don't know. I suppose average build, average looking, average everything. Yeah, I'm just me.
Okay. Hey, that's fine. Hey, that look, look, you painted a picture in my mind, so that's good.
I'm not sure if I want to, but never mind.
So, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So, you actually are a moderator in the Blind Lounge. For those of you guys who don't know, um, what brought you into the group and to be a blind moderator?
um, this is a very complicated question, Dominic, for a morning.
Right, exactly.
I think for me, it's because I always have a passion of building the bridge. I think people that know me long enough, or people that kind of like read I post in the group and comment and stuff like that, know that I have a very this is like my forte, my area. I
Mhm.
have a very passion on building the bridge between blind and sighted, and also I suppose bringing blind people the awareness and the empowerment as well, because I strongly believe that only us ourselves can empower our own. So it's not something
Right.
that given from someone. In terms of why I joined the group, it's kind of a bit hard to say, I guess. Part of it because I kind of like feel that this kind of a different group. It's maybe a bigger, a more meaningful group, and
Hmm.
yeah. And then why I become a moderator? Well, you got to ask your boss.
I
I'm not a
know, right?
moderator. I'm just a slave.
Exactly, right. Look, I need to be directing all questions to him. But yeah, so okay, so you kind of touched on it a little bit about I don't know. Should I call it motivational speaking? Would that be a good term to use?
No, um,
Okay.
because I don't believe in I personally don't believe in motivation speaking. Just like I don't believe in inspiration. Because for
Okay.
me, it's something that you go to a what do you call it? You go to a event or whatever it is. You speak. People come to you and go, oh, okay, what can I get from this person, that person? But then when you go
Hmm.
back, when that person go back, as an audience, you might tell your lovers or your friends that, hey, look, I met Dominic. He's amazing. He's blind and he's doing this and that. Oh, by the way, what are we going to
Hmm.
have for dinner? So the conversation will stop
Uh,
at that point. So for me, I
right,
don't believe
right.
in motivation. I believe in influencing. I'm not so much of influencing, but transferring people through through actions, through experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know that I actually came across or was given access to one of your speeches that you did. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so tell me a little bit more about a lot of the speeches that you've done and where we can find them at if we want to see some.
Um, okay. Well, I suppose the speeches that you've probably been given, I don't know which one. It's probably be the one I did in India. So I was in India for about 9 months in 2015 through a scholarship
Hmm.
program, fully funded
Okay.
scholarship program that is about social change and social visionaries, as well as social
Okay.
leadership. So part of the program, I need to give a 10-minute speech, kind of
Okay.
like about myself, which I really don't like. I mean, for people that may have known me long enough, know that I really don't like to talk about myself. Just
Okay.
something that I don't like to do. So through that, yeah, it's a real struggle. I suppose what they try to do is make it a bit like a TED speech kind of thing. Um, but through that experience, not so much of the speech, but through the India experience, it's also brought me to different parts of the world, to do different amazing things. Yeah.
So you are definitely well traveled. What are some of the places you've been to?
Um, India, Nepal, Vietnam, Uganda, Rwanda, Poland,
Oh, wow.
some parts of Europe, Germany. Yeah, I traveled quite a lot. The last one was to New Zealand. Only places that I haven't been in terms of continent wise, besides um, Antarctic, is America. I haven't been to America as a continent.
What? Oh my goodness. So okay, so with that being said, so you've been all these places and stuff like that, and I know that probably a large bulk of people in this group, I would assume would be safe to say are probably from America. So what would you say are some of the biggest cultural differences that you've run across?
Um, it's really hard to say because I guess I naturally adapt, a very adaptable person.
Hmm.
For me, it's not so much of an issue.
Okay.
Of course, there are certain things that really, I mean, for example, accessibility. Like I always said, if I go to a country that English is not a first language, then my disability is not blindness. My disability is actually language because that's my barrier.
Right.
And that will be the
Right.
same with anyone that travel to the country that don't know the language. For example, I was in Rwanda 2 years ago now. Yeah, 2 years ago, and I was there for for about 2 weeks, and Rwanda in East Africa, their language is Rwandan, so and also French because they were colonized by the French for quite some time, so probably only 0.1% of the population can speak English.
Oh wow.
So it's but at the same time, I don't feel threatened at all. So a lot of people will say,
Oh.
well, you are a blind person, you go there by yourself in such a country, but I feel the warmth. I feel the genuine love and care from the community itself, to the point that actually um, it's quite it can be quite invasive at some time, because for example, one of the bus driver was telling the whole bus, this is because me with my friend together, he's a local, and he said, hey, look, this blind person, if anyone dare to touch her or step on her or anything, I'll beat you to death. It's like,
Oh my lord.
and you gotta understand, like, this is in the Rwanda. We travel through Kigali, which is the capital of Rwanda, and we have probably about it's kind of like a minivan with maybe only 12 seats, but you probably have 20 people on it. So
Oh my
it
god.
can be quite crowded. But to know that kind of, I mean, for other people might think that, what are you talking about? You are just being so rude. But for me, I think that, oh my God, that's the warmth that I feel from the people. And
Right, right.
it's not from, like, it's not because I mean, yes, in some way it's a special treatment, but at the same time it's just like that people just watching over me, I guess.
Over you. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost kind of like, me personally, I always felt like my grandmother always said that she prayed that, like, when I would go places, that she would always have somebody there to watch after me, or God would put somebody in place. And it's funny because I
Mm.
still run across people still to this day. But go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Oh, okay. Um, so I actually, when I watched your video, you had this quote in it, and it kind of resonated with me. And I said I was gonna start using. I think it went something like, "You can't change the wind, but you can always adjust your sails to get to your destination." Um,
Mm-mm.
and I thought that that was so powerful in ways. And it was funny because I think in that speech or another video that I watched of you, you talked about doing photography. And I thought that was really interesting. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I always say to people, I'm actually I'm funny enough, I'm actually a very visual person. I know it's
Okay.
like, it doesn't make sense for a blind person, but I'm actually very visual. The way I learn, the way I view things, the way I image things. So I'm very imagery driven. In fact, I'm very not I'm not a tactile person.
Okay.
I don't have I mean, unless it's really close circle, I don't like to be touched. I don't like to touch. So that's sort of like, I mean, of course, unless you are my friends, like circle close, like a really really intimate close circle of like few friends. Otherwise,
Hmm.
I'm just not a tactile person, and it goes through even with the way I learn, the way I do work and stuff. So what I'm trying to do is using myself as an agent, I suppose. If you want to put it in much more of a bluntly, as an agent of change, because I believe there's a lot of things that blind people miss out just because we have the perception that visual is evil. Visual is the
Right, right.
sighted world. So I try to bridge that by doing photography, by doing visual art, by doing painting and stuff like that as much as I can. I'm not doing so much these days because of my vision deteriorating, but the whole idea is to break that stereotype, and to sort of like go and say, hey, because I can find stories with doing photography, because this is true story. I was using my guide dog one hand, and
Hmm.
another hand I was holding a camera, and I got stopped by a police and say, are you okay? So it's like, so I'm not sure if they're thinking that either I steal the camera or I steal the dog or both. But you're like, are you alright? So, so
Wow.
then once I go to a camera shop to look for a camera, because I am someone that I really need to do a research before I do something, and
Hmm.
I got stopped by a person, by another shopper in front of the camera. She pretty much dragged me out of the shop. She's like, "No, you want to go to the next door?" I'm like, "No, I want to go to the camera shop." She said, "No, this is a camera shop. What do you want to do there?" You know, um, I ignore her, and then I went in and talked to the people and go on with my business and so on and so off. But I always know that she was there lurking and watching me. So when I left the camera, the shop, she came in to the guy to the camera store and said to the people, "Oh, she actually know what she's talking about. She actually do want to go to, you know." And the storekeeper's like, "Yeah, yeah, we know her very well. She came here quite often."
Right.
So it's that kind of stereotype, and more so is to really challenge the blind people to really go out of your comfort zone because you don't know what
Right.
else is out there unless you try it.
Right. 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 Oh man. And it's so funny because I feel like on some level, each of us have experienced that on some level. So it's crazy. But I probably should have asked you this at the beginning. What is the nature of your vision loss? And how long have you been dealing with it?
Um, I haven't since birth. It's um it's a cause of um measles. So my mom,
Okay.
when she had me, she didn't have measles, but she come contact with someone that have measles, and
Okay.
because her antibody is strong enough to fight, so they don't know until when I born. And even that they don't know until when I was about 7 days old. My aunt, one of my auntie, just say, this is not right. This girl don't open her eyes. It's just not right. So
Mm-hmm.
then she forced to open my eyes and realized that I'm actually, that's no, it's totally white because the cornea. So if you want to call it disease or diagnose, I suppose, it's called Peters abnormally. It's pretty abnormal. That's why it's
Okay.
called
Yeah.
Peters abnormally.
No, right.
Um, it's mainly a corneal disease. It's not genetic, but yeah, it's a result of measles. So that's also one of the reasons why I'm quite a strong advocate when it comes to vaccination and things like that as well.
Wow. I swear to you, every time I do these interviews, I've learned something new that I didn't know, especially about blindness. So I didn't even know that that existed. So you are definitely educating me. Um, Last but not least, um, because you seem to be very active in the community and stuff like that. Lord forbid, if something were to happen to you, let's say tomorrow, what would be one thing that you would want to let our community know that you feel like would leave a mark on everybody?
Um, this is a hard question, Dominic, because I don't believe that I have the power to leave a mark on other people. I believe that, through the things I do, I can somehow enable the process of
Hmm.
perhaps helping you to empower yourself because I'm a very strong advocate on self empowerment. I don't
Okay.
believe it can be given. I don't believe that
Okay.
it can be passed on. Um, for me, I guess my message is always has been and always will be that live your life to the fullest, whatever you do, through your work, your life, your love, whatever it is. Because when you think that you are the worst, there are always, always, always someone that are much more worse than you. um,
Amen.
and not just
Mm.
blind people. Look at the person that in refugee camp that you don't know what's your fate. People that in
Yeah.
war zone, people that
Yeah.
in people that are fighting with disease, and people that being gang rape as a result of war,
Hmm.
and have HIV as a result of that.
Hmm.
So I always believe that when you think of you as the worst, that means that you are actually too self-indulgent. You're not digging deep enough.
Wow. And it's so funny that you bring that up because I actually was telling somebody the other day, a lot of times you get a lot of people that's like, oh, you're blind. I'm so sorry. And it's like I always look at it like, given the cards I was given, I still look at other people and it's like, hey, it could always be worse. That's my saying. It could always be worse. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And hence
So,
why I just do, like I travel because I use myself again as in some way I expose myself out there. And yes, it's vulnerable, it's dangerous, it's fearless, it's courageous, whatever you want to call it. Some people will say that it's daring or all sorts of things, but
Right.
then I'm using myself out there as an agent of change. I don't need to tell people you must do this or that or the other thing, but
Right.
I hope I can achieve by just simply being me, simply being out there, and then I suppose for me is as long as if I can change one person a day, then I really do
Yeah.
my bit in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. I know that that's kind of my message a lot of times too, because I kind of take my experience and go, okay, well, even if I can just tell my story, and if nothing else, even if the other person would just go, well, I don't want to make them same mistakes, then I feel like, my life was not, in vain. It
Yeah, and
helped
for me,
somebody else to, yeah.
yeah, and for me, it's not so much of even that. It's even just walking on the street and someone's look at, oh, this is a blind person, and she or he walk on the street by, him or herself, or going to the stores and buying, I don't know, a packet of popcorn, or in my case, instant noodles, or whatever it is. Going to the
Uh,
shop and ordering coffee, things
right.
like that. Not being different, not being special, but just being, because I believe that at the very end, we are all human. Start with, doesn't matter black, white, yellow, orange, pink, blue,
Right.
or disability or not. There is a human behind it. So what I always do is I always put a disclaimer on me. I'm an artist with vision impairment. I am, whatever. I'm a woman with vision impairment, so on and so on. But I've never put my blindness as first, because blindness doesn't define who I am. It's just part of who I am.
There you go. There you go. Well, as I get ready to draw this to a close, is there anything you want to ask me?
Um, it's too early for asking questions.
Well, just for everybody who knows, on the East Coast, it's got to be okay. Google, what time is it? So it's 6:45 p.m. on the East Coast. What time is it there?
It's 9:15.
In the morning. Oh wow.
Yeah, Adelaide. That's where we have a weird half-hour time zone. It's only
Uh-huh.
one in a few country in the world that have a half-hour time zone. But yeah, it's about 9:15 here.
Oh my goodness. Well, look, I ain't gonna eat up no more of your time, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and get your day started. But it was good talking to you.
Thank you very much, Dominic. That's been a pleasure.
No problem, no problem. And you guys, I hope you learned a little bit more about Joanne, and I will see you guys next time.
Cheers. Bye.